Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Walking Digital Corridors. And this morning's topic is multi-threading. If you haven't heard the term multi-threading before, it's essentially nothing new. It's stakeholder management, account planning, whatever you call it within your organization. I think multi-threading is proven to be a very effective tactic as part of your sales strategy. So I'm your bearded sales guy, otherwise known as Alex Abbott, and I'm joined by
Jordan Abbott, also known as the Sales Poet, Business Development Manager at the Institute of Sales Professionals.
Yeah.
And Jensen Abbott, BDR at Content.ai, and currently in sunny Portugal.
Yeah, arrived last night.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
How much nicer would it have been if we could have just recorded this session, sat around the pool, a nice super bock. Is it super bock? No, what is it? The Portuguese beer, super bock.
No, I think it is super. There's Sagres and I think it's super bock. I'll check that. But enjoying the sun and basking in the glory of a win last night.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully this shows Southgate that substitutes are a good thing.
And leave it right to the last minute to do that.
Well, I know. To be fair, it would have been nicer if it was a little bit earlier. The subs were quite late on, but they made an impact. So, who are we to moan?
Well, I never thought. So I heard something last night that I never thought I would hear from Jensen's lips. Gareth Southgate is a tactical genius.
Hold on. Let's tell the full story. No, so look, I don't really like Southgate, in all honesty.
We never would have guessed.
But I said the last two matches with the substitutions he's made does make him look like a tactical genius.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah. You and Grandad, I think, will eventually come round.
Yeah. If he wins, if we win, I don't know. I might.
Yeah. So apparently, word on the grapevine is either way, Southgate is leaving.
Yeah.
Leaving.
If he doesn't win, the FA will sack him, which is I mean, I wanted him gone because of the way we have been playing in the start of the tournament. But that's a tough break, getting a team to the final and then getting sacked. Or if he does win, apparently he'll leave of his own accord, which I don't blame him. It's one of, if not the toughest job in world football, being the England manager.
But you can't hide the fact that he's had a really good innings and he is the most successful manager that we've had since 1966.
Yeah, no. It's undisputable. He has done an incredible job. I take my hat off to him. But with the caliber of players that we've got, I would rather us go out and play really attractive football and maybe not get there for another 4 years, just while it's gelling, just because the entertainment of it, like watching that Spanish team play, is incredible. And I do think we're going to get ripped to shreds by the Spanish team. They're just so quick, so agile on the ball. But
we need to find another level.
Yeah.
We need to find another level for Sunday. Yeah.
Indeed.
Got one more comment on this before we move on. Were you going to say something, Jensen?
No, I was going to say, because apparently Pep Guardiola could become the England manager purely because Is he Spanish, or it's like old Spain?
So, Catalonian.
That's it, because he's Catalonian. He's got like a pledge that he can't take the Spain managerial role.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, it leaves him open.
Apparently, Potter is being lined up next, which, what's this? Graham Potter. Yeah, which doesn't exactly whet the appetite.
Yeah, no. Pep, Potter. Tough one.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Let's see how we're talking about England next week. Look, multi-threading. Where do you want to start with this? Do you want to maybe give your thoughts, views on what you think it is, how you do it, if you do it?
Yeah, well, I think just, adding a bit of context, as you said, it's nothing new. But I think the reason that it is at the forefront of the conversation at the minute is because all investments are under a lot more scrutiny. They require a lot more justification. Where previously maybe engaging with one or two stakeholders, they would have been able to get it across the line internally because the investment wasn't under so much scrutiny. You've then got that layer of nervousness within stakeholders because they don't want to be the only name attached to a deal because it's too easy to follow the paper trail back to them if that investment doesn't work out. So then it's how much are they going to fight for this to build that consensus internally. Then comes to sort of strength in numbers. And I was just doing a bit of research ahead of the session, and this stat jumped out at me. So stats show that the average win rate when only one or two stakeholders are involved is 8%. It jumps up to 39% when you're engaging 6 or more stakeholders.
Interesting.
And then is there another statistic going up from 6 or more?
That's a good question. It doesn't go into more detail, but I will do a little bit of digging after the session.
And what's the source of that research?
So this is coming from Lead Genius. So where they don't actually show the original source, but again, let me do some more digging.
Yeah.
Following the session, and I will come back to you.
Yeah, I mean, it would be good to know, but I think we all know that actually the more stakeholders you can engage within a deal, within a sales process, that you can positively influence, the more likely you are to get the decision going your way. Now let's just kind of define multi-threading because I think it's important, right? So multi-threading in my mind, and tell me if you guys see it any differently. Multi-threading in my mind is where either a salesperson is effectively building relationships effectively with multiple stakeholders within the organization in which they want to do business with. But equally, it is pairing off multiple people on the seller's side with relevant stakeholders on the buyer's side. So you've got this true multi-threading across multiple people within the seller and the buyer organization.
Yeah, it's a really valid point, and something that I was going to say something that I think is overlooked, but something that I've certainly overlooked because as a seller, I've thought about how I can multi-thread, build relationships with various, but additionally, how can I leverage those other internal resources that can then also build relationships across? So yeah. Really good point.
And actually, when we think about the importance of strategic networking and identifying the people both internally as much as externally, whether at the company in which you want to do business with or you're pulling in other partners, that list of people within your strategic network is so important when we think about multi-threading, because you can then start to measure the strength of relationship that you have with everyone within your strategic network. And everyone in your strategic network, I think, should consist of people that, if you build a stronger relationship with those people within your strategic network, it increases your chances of creating new pipeline or strengthening existing pipeline within the business or the company you want to do business with. Yeah. So I thought what we could do is have a little look at this image. Can you see that clearly? Is that coming through okay?
Yeah, I got that perfectly clear.
Cool. So what you're looking at here is essentially on the left axis, visibility, rapport, and trust. And then along the bottom, length of time, so sales cycle length, but also the number of stakeholders influencing the purchase decision. Now, typically, we see that the more stakeholders influencing the purchase decision over time, the less likely you are to win a deal. And traditionally, you might be relying on email or phone, right? So this quadrant, you have the traditional approach below the orange line, and you'll see what I mean when I say traditional approach. So email and cold calling, right? It's traditional. And then we'll get to what comes above the orange line, but then the vertical orange line is kind of, before a qualified opportunity and after you've qualified the opportunity. So
Okay.
before the qualified opportunity, you might be doing some account planning, and that might consist of stakeholder map creation. You then start messaging these people, sharing insight, maybe calling into them. Maybe you're lucky enough to bump into them at an event, or you're inviting them to an event in person, which is quite expensive. And then maybe that results in a one-to-one meeting with somebody that wants to learn more about you and what you do. And what I would add here is, we're reliant on searching and qualifying those 5%, maybe 5 to 10% of people that are in market for the solution that you provide. But there's 95% of the market that probably won't talk to you unless they're considering their needs. And then maybe there's some follow-up. So you're following up with an email. You're hoping that engagement that you've had with them is enough for them to want to learn more. And then you might have a Zoom call or a Teams call, and then there's some chatter behind closed doors that you're not aware of. Do we like this person? Is the problem big enough to solve? Do we think this company can solve it? And ultimately reach that point where you've got 12 or more stakeholders considering the purchase, and hopefully the purchase decision goes your way. But as we know, 52% of deals are left in the graveyard of indecision. Now, let's think about strategic networking and the importance today of bringing in social networking, social media. What if, and it surprises me, I can't tell you how many times I still see it today, where enterprise sellers, mid-market sellers, are selling. They're struggling with enough pipeline. They're struggling with having enough confidence in their existing pipeline. But you look at their LinkedIn profile and it's like a graveyard on the LinkedIn profile. Now, what if you then start liking content that your strategic network is posting, or liking the content that they're engaging with? and for the most part, that will be positive. Maybe you've written a blog post, and there's some debate around your point of view. But because you're putting it out there, you're connecting with your strategic network. You're encouraging debate with the people in which you're trying to grow your influence with. Doing this on LinkedIn costs nothing. Maybe you want to do what we're doing today. Have a chat for 15 to 20 minutes about a topic that is relevant to you and the audience in which you're targeting. Maybe you want to post some videos. I know that's a tactic close to your heart, Jordan and Jensen, with the rap videos. And so, ultimately, this gives you an opportunity to increase your visibility, build an affinity, grow rapport with those hard to reach stakeholders that you otherwise wouldn't have had an opportunity to engage with, which, as we see from the benchmark study that we've been running for almost 18 months now, increases your win rate, increases the amount of pipeline you can generate. And you might be familiar with this graph. This is Gartner research that has found that the close rate significantly decreases the more stakeholders that are involved. Or, to the research that you mentioned, George, the win rate significantly increases the more stakeholders that you can engage within that purchase process. And you'll see the purple arrow dotted line going up. We see from the social selling benchmark that we've been running across our clients and associates that when you follow the conversation operating system methodology, that you increase stakeholder engagement rate by more than 6 times in those active accounts.
Yeah.
And because of following this approach, you create more activity in more accounts, up to 15 times more activity in your territory. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll pause there because I'm keen to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, I think I think that it's clear. All the data shows us that we need to engage more buyers as a result of the shifts that have taken place in buyer behaviours. Keen to him. Sorry.
Well, so why don't we see more sellers doing this? Why don't we see more customer success folks doing this, do you think?
Because it's hard. It's tough enough to cut through the noise with one person in an organization. Yeah. We've created the perfect storm for ourselves by absolutely bombarding these people with outreach, with insight-led, content, just burying them. That to be able to cut through is no easy task, right? So I think when salespeople finally do cut through, we forget whether it's complacency, whether it's just that desperation to build some form of pipeline. Perhaps it sort of falls by the wayside. And the top sellers are doing exactly what we're talking about. They're engaging, but I think it's a case of, again, whether it's complacency, whether it's that desperation, or whether it's just because it's different to what has traditionally worked.
Yeah. Could it be that what we've just talked about there is we call it the conversation operating system, but many will call it social selling, and there's a negative connotation attached to social selling, and therefore sellers don't think it's salespeople, I should say, don't feel like it's valuable.
Although, couldn't you say those people that don't find it valuable are the ones that aren't doing it and haven't seen success?
Yeah, potentially. I think that goes back to what Alex is saying in terms of that stigma, because for some, it's just seen as another channel. Social is seen as another channel, but it's not. Okay, yes, it is another channel, but for some people, they see it as another channel where they can lay, copy paste their approach that they've done elsewhere. Whereas what we're talking about here is behavioural change, and LinkedIn or socials facilitate that behaviour.
Yeah. And actually the minds, the way that one thinks about social media perhaps is more aligned to, well, it's marketing as opposed to selling.
Yeah.
And I think if one thinks about posting as social selling, or sending connection requests only as social selling, then they misunderstand what social selling is about.
Yeah.
It's actually about posting humanized content and commenting daily, inserting yourself into conversations with your target audience, or so that your target audience can see you for the right reasons.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, just one quick question, and perhaps this is something for another session, but I think it'd be quite beneficial to break down those various layers of the strategic network, as you mentioned. What does it consist of? Obviously, there's going to be prospects in them. There might be some mentors. There might be some advocates. There might be your internal organisation. It'd be quite cool to actually break down those various groups and the benefits that they provide in terms of your strategic network. And as I'm talking, it definitely sounds like it should be another topic for another discussion, because I think there's quite a lot there.
Let's do that next week, and we can share the way in which we think about the strategic network, a focused account, territory, and let's say influencers and micro influencers, or ways to get in front of your strategic network when your strategic network isn't posting anything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right. I think that kind of wraps things up for today, unless you want to add anything else.
No, I think that's everything. I'll see you in about 4 hours when my flight lands in Faro. I'm jealous now, seeing you both in Portugal.
I know.
I was going to say, is that because you want to come and get beat at go-karting?
Oh, don't even go there. Have you got the GoPro?
Or golf.
Or golf, yeah. Pick a sport you want to get beaten at, and I'll beat you, mate.
If you'd have said bodybuilding, weightlifting, or maybe football, I would have been like, okay, I'll give you that. But golf, go-karting, two sports I'm very confident.
Okay, we'll see.
Have you got the GoPros? Because records, and we'll get some footage for next Friday's session, the F1 session.
Oh yeah.
I've got some footage to show as well from being at Silverstone. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah. I'll ask Mum if she'll record us. Yeah,
Love that.
Good. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for your value time, as always. Have a great rest of your week, and see you next time on Walking Digital Corridors. Take care.